Yeah. Okay. So, if you're here joining us, you probably just watched Impact like we did. Maybe some of us normally watch Impact, or sometimes watch Impact. I usually don't watch Impact. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was a really good show, actually. Like, I was surprised at how good the show was.
I actually enjoyed the show more than I enjoyed the reason that everyone tuned in for the show. I mean, it's cool. I liked it. I don't know what I expected. I thought it would be... Personally, I thought it'd be a little bit cooler. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Personally, I really liked the show. I thought they had some solid matches. I actually was reading the chat as we went along. That's the toxic fandom right there for you. But I will also say that when the women's match came on, the tag team, a lot of the AEW guys were coming in and saying, oh, well, this is a women's match. Granted, they were downing AEW's, but it was nice to see a positive interaction, even if it was just for one match. So I enjoyed it. Do we want to just jump into the big announcement or lack thereof?
I mean, yeah, we can. I mean, we can talk about the results if you want to. Everything's basically setting up Final Resolution this weekend. Saw Ethan Page lose to Chris Sabin, which makes me think that he's going to win this weekend. Brian Myers versus TJP. Brian Myers got the win. I guess he has a match this weekend. He's against Rohit. Mm-hmm. So that'll be cool. Eric Young beat Cody Deaner. Who else we saw? Taya Valkyrie and Kimber Lee lose to Gianna Prazo and Kimberly lose to Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary.
Yeah, which then they announced that Rosemary is facing Deanna for the title for the Knockouts Championship. So,
okay,
I'm thinking that Deanna's going to retain. So,
very cool.
That's my prediction. So, we'll probably discuss it on Saturday.
Chris Bay and Moose took on Willie Mack and Rich Swann.
Mm-hmm. Which I know that they're the main event. I believe it could be Rich Swann versus Chris Bay for the Impact title. So of course, Rich Swann is going to retain now. They kind of sprinkled in something at the end of the show, which we're probably going to go ahead and discuss. I don't know if you want to discuss it. So.
Yeah, I guess we can just go right into it. So right before the Kenny Omega Don Callis bit, we see Moose trying to get in to talk to Kenny Omega, and he's not on the list. And so he gets a little frustrated. I thought that was kind of funny. Let's see, what else do we have? So throughout the show, the commentators said over and over, AEW champion Kenny Omega is here. They start the show off, with footage of the Moxley and Kenny Omega match. At some point in the show, Tony Khan buys an ad, mentions he could stop this, but he doesn't want to. He thinks it would help the business. He mentions he has investments in Nashville, and there's rumors that he's buying Impact. They keep, kind of pumping up Final Resolution for this weekend, and then that kind of brings us to the very end of the show.
Ooh.
So,
do you guys think that we'll get the? I think what's going to happen is they're going to be like, oh, tune into this, tune into that, tune into this, and then we get a big announcement. The actual announcement comes at Impact.
Rich Swann, sorry, not Moose. My bad.
Or I'm sorry, Impact. The pay-per-view on Saturday. Maybe we'll actually hear.
Probably because they like Kenny Omega, what it seemed like he's like, oh, there's another announcement that's gonna happen on AEW. So I don't know if they're gonna like push it like so that everybody will start tuning in, and then once they're tuning in, then they'll just say, oh, here's the big announcement. I don't know what
I think Tony's buying it. I'm just gonna flat out say it. I think Tony's buying Impact.
I think that's the writing on the wall. That would seem to be the case. Now they mentioned the IWGP Championship also in all of this, and one of the long rumors would be like, will AEW and New Japan ever work together? And it's kind of more of the same, kind of more of the short mentions here and there. Basically just acknowledging that it exists, not so much teasing any kind of working relationship or anything. But they basically came on here to say that they've been friends for a long time. And Don was trained by Kenny's uncle. He's always looked out for Kenny. He's been the invisible hand in his life. And he takes credit for AEW. So I thought it was fun.
He's such a tool.
He's such a tool. He's doing a great job with these red aviators. Kenny Donner family, et cetera, et cetera. Kenny says he did it because John Moxley laid his hand on his father figure. It was the reason that they broke the gentleman's agreement. And Heel Kenny just kind of keeps talking about himself. Mentions like, oh, you guys have a pretty good champion here in Impact, right? As a kind of passing note, and everyone has to tune in to Dynamite tomorrow. So very heel stuff to say, come over here, look at me, I'm going to tell you something. Now I'm going to tell you to go back over here. It's very cartoon-like in Looney Tunes. Were you happy with this outcome? Were you disappointed? Were you expecting more?
I personally was expecting a little disappointed. No. Was I expecting more? Absolutely. But like good storytelling, you've got to wait until the next part. You get a little bit. I thought they would give at least more of a hint to see why we had tune in to next week or something. But I liked it. I just wish they would have given a little bit more of a cliffhanger.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Orlando?
What I'm thinking, it seems like what's going to happen is just that it's Kenny Omega's going to win all the world titles. Because that's what I'm saying, because he kept on talking about like the RV and then what was his name? Lex Luthor, which I was speaking with Brian about it because like he's been watching like the early 90s WWF. And I was asking him about the reference, and you told me about the reference about, oh, they go across country. So maybe it's a reference about him going cross promotions and he's winning those titles. Because even like Callis said, like, oh, we have titles here too, Kenny. Like saying like, oh, he may want to, go after the world title of Impact, So
what if he's not just buying Impact? Tony's not just buying Impact. What if he's buying something else? He could technically, if he positions himself correctly, he could be the biggest powerhouse in wrestling next to Vince McMahon. I mean, they already are second biggest, but think of the library. Think of everything that they could be able to add to AEW. This could be a lot bigger than what any of us are thinking about cross promotion. They're going to buy him out. This could be huge for AEW. Because I'm sure, like, everybody wants to do streaming services, right? That's where all the money's for. And I personally like it. But what could happen is you changed the camera and I got really uncomfortable the way I was sitting.
Because you're speaking the truth right now, and I love it. I think you should be highlighted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Warn a bitch next time. No. So what if he buys all of these companies and can literally overtake WWE, not just be competition for them? And think about it. TNT is going to give them a lot more money if they take all these other companies and say, "Hey, we need at least one or two more shows." You don't think that they're going to compete in the time slots that WWE are at? I think WWE may be in trouble right now, which makes me sad, but I hope they both succeed in the long run. But there could be huge competition.
So
Yeah.
we've got our first comments from our YouTube page now. Our buddy Dallas is chiming in, makes an interesting point. What if he also buys the NWA?
That's what I'm saying.
And is it just a
and-
coincidence that Shockwave just started a few days ago? Like, how do they all of a sudden have money to start having shows again?
Right. I think that this is bigger. I think this is bigger than just what the people or what we're hearing about on the news boards, etc. I think this is going to be huge if he chooses to do so.
Yeah, I mean, or what he could do is like position himself where he has all these companies, but he can have them operate separately. You know, like he's bringing in the money, bringing in the viewership, giving them the money, but they're still doing their own thing. You know,
And that's
they could just like. Right, I'm sorry.
No, I was actually agreeing. And that's a possibility, but I think that in order for everybody to tune in, look, Impact does how much on Twitch? Like 1,500? They brought 52 plus thousand viewers to it. So I think that
insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And I'm so happy that they're doing that because I'm one of those people that absolutely love wrestling and hope that everybody succeeds. But saying that, I think what very well could possibly is that AEW will need to put their name on their brand. Now, could it be something like AEW Presents? Yeah, I think that it could be independently. But in order for them to make money, they're going to need to have that brand. And I think they're going to need to be able to promote it that way.
Yeah, and especially how like they said that this is the master plan because look, Don Callis worked with ECW and WWF, so he probably has a little bit of a problem with that system back in the day. So he probably was maybe thinking about that as well. So, you know.
And honestly, I don't think Don Callis has any real push in this. I think this is all Tony Khan and him going across it. I mean, also to say what Jim Cornette said was that Impact is just using Tony's money to bring them viewership, which could be true. But Tony's not stupid. He didn't keep getting rich by being stupid. I think he's really smart. He's going to know how to monopolize all of his things that he needs to in order to make his business grow. If AEW is not making him money, he's not going to continue with it. So he knows what he's doing. And I think that we're about to see something quite shocking across the wrestling world. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I want to comment about Tim's little comment right there. He says, but Shaq fought in WWE and now he's going to fight in AEW. So the thing is that remember, Shaq is a wrestling fan. He probably watched WCW as well as WWF back in the days. Also remember is just that he works in TNT as well, and AEW is in TNT. So of course it's going to be kind of like almost like a cross promotion show, you know, so that they can kind of get some viewerships for their basketball show that Shaq is on, and then he'll bring some of his viewers over to to see AEW. So so
what do you think about this?
The crowd silence was deafening. I really hope Impact gets an audience. Well, yeah, like that's the thing. That's another thing. Remember, it's just that we're dealing with the pandemic. And I don't know what Impact can do. I don't know if maybe Tony Khan will offer them to use, the where AEW is taping, maybe change their environment and go there, So I mean that will probably help them out, and maybe they can grab the crowd from there. And also, we're gonna have vaccines, so probably in the future, maybe the pandemic will probably be over, so hopefully it will help out.
To a certain extent, the pandemic will be over. I actually get mine in 2 weeks. I am so not excited about the vaccine. I mean, I think it's needed and I'm hoping. I'm just upset that I'm getting it so soon. I was like going to wait until everybody else had theirs. But apparently, if I want to work, I have to get a vaccine.
Just to make sure that no,
Well, no, like yeah, all of us will probably have to get the Impact Plus app. Now that what's going on with like AEW and's involvement with them, I think everybody's probably going to now sign up for them. So,
Well, you guys all should, anyways. Impact Wrestling is quite awesome. I mean, I love their app. Like, after I'm done with all the WWE pay-per-views, I plan on going back and watching all the TNA and whatever. The other thing I wanted to add to that was I lost the train of thought. So yes, we'll probably getting more crowds. I think that we're going to start seeing them in Impact, and I think that's what's missing in Impact is the crowd reaction. And I think a lot of matches, I don't know if especially for somebody who's new to watching it, I don't know if I'm supposed to boo or hate them. I'm just going off of their commentary, I'm sorry, I don't like their commentary. But
I don't mind it.
no, Madison Rain is a treasure. It's Josh Matthews.
I don't know. I think they're both great separately. I don't think that they're good together. They're married, and it feels like they bicker like they're married, and it's annoying.
Hire Joey Janela.
Yes, Joey Janela is awesome as long as he stays with. Oh, you're watching WCW today? Well, awesome. I love WCW back in the day.
Wait, I want to go back to Tim's comment. He says, but Impact is going to screw AEW like they did to New Japan.
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so. No, this is different. No, I think this is a little different. And I think New Japan screwed up the deal themselves. So I don't know what was the story there, but.
So I would agree with him to a certain extent. I agree with you, Tim, to a certain extent. If it depends who's controlling the money. So Tony Khan is controlling the money. I think with New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact, I think Impact had the bigger name at the time, sort of, in America that had all the leverage. So, I mean, without a doubt, if possible, could Impact do that? Sure. But I think Tony Khan is the bread and butter. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them right now. I just don't see them. And I think that they are generally going to buy them probably. I mean, if they go with the plan that I'm thinking they'll go, I feel like it will only benefit wrestling. The one bad thing I don't want is that there's just two major companies like there was, a couple of years ago, because all the rich guys are buying it all up. I don't want that, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, it's all very interesting.
Yeah, no, and I'm thinking like Tony Khan, I think he sees the bigger picture. I think he sees that if there's different promotions, it helps out the business. So, he's trying to help everybody out, so, but look right now. They had 52,000 people watching on Twitch, maybe they're going to be in the top 50 on the ratings for TV. You don't know. So
it could very possibly be.
I think their weekly numbers are like 150K. So you just like you're automatically getting a third of that on Twitch alone, which is is a well-known platform. It certainly isn't on the level of like a Facebook or a Twitter. So I think that's pretty huge. You're getting a fairly significant chunk of people just from that community alone, which is by no means small. There's tons of people on Twitch, just like us. This week, coming soon.
Yes, coming soon. Yes.
But I think it's so nice to see. I mean, look at this. So you've got, on one hand, you've got the WWE saying like, okay, you can't use your characters on Twitch or any of these other third-party sites. And now you have two different promotions that are not only allowing their talent to be on platforms like that, but they're using it to their advantage.
Of course.
And you have to think that would be the reason that they would succeed in the long run.
I think go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that this is what's that word? I lost the word that I was thinking of. But go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. Let me think of it and then
I don't see wrestlers having Twitch and everything else, however they want to make their money to the side, they should be allowed to, because they're creating a fan base outside of the normal scope of it. Somebody being on Twitch and somebody getting paid for it to pay them may not necessarily be the same ones that watch wrestling, and that could bring them in and build their audience. There is no downside to it outside of the old way of thinking, oh, you're making money off of the name that I gave you. It's very daddy issue type of thing. And I get what Vince is doing. I don't fault him for it, but it is an older business model that he's using. And I think that's what's going to have him fail as far as wanting to keep wrestlers with him. Like, for example, if, Tony Khan decides to buy up like Impact and other promotions and make one mega one just for the library alone, who do you think wrestlers are going to want to go to? WWE or AEW? Where would you want to go? Where can you make the most money?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like a lot of wrestlers, whenever they get a release from WWE, they either retire or they do something else. So, but now there's more people that are actually continuing in wrestling, in the independent circuit, and they're seeing that they can make a living being a wrestler, and they don't really need WWE. So I'm thinking like Kenny Omega and Tony Khan are trying to help those people just to make sure that they can, achieve their goal, but also they get a bigger platform so that way you can see greater, better matches outside there, like an Impact and maybe a Ring of Honor, or maybe, NWA or, MLW. So.
Also, I do think that even if Tony does buy up however many he wants to, maybe it's just Impact, maybe it's an additional NWA, that still leaves other promotions to prosper. Like that could make, because you're always going to want, as fans, you're always going to want something in addition to the big two. That's why ECW was so big, because people had AEW, WCW at the time, and there was always that huge committed fan group that just loved ECW and a couple of other ones that were really popular in that day. So even if Tony buys up what we may think that he's going to, we still have our Ring of Honor. We still have a couple other ones that could still potentially be huge and still get big stars and be able to build them. And I don't know. I don't see a downside to this business move.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think this is going to be great for everybody involved. And I don't think there's really an opportunity for Impact to screw AEW here. So I think this is pretty much win-win.
No.
I think someone said that they wanted to see, Omega versus Slater match, which begs the question, what kind of cross-promotional matchups would you like to see?
Now, mind you, remember, Omega versus Heath Slater happened in WWE. It was in their developmental at the time, Deep South Wrestling. I think that was called Deep South Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot of cross promotions, like I said, like it could do an invasion angle, it could do a cross promotion, like maybe advertise, like, they're starting to do that with the end of the NWA Women's Champion, so maybe Impact star.
I'm sorry, Daniel, can you put up Tim's last comment? Because I want to comment on that. So I agree with you, Tim. Sorry, can I just reply real quick? Sorry. So Tim, I 100% agree with you on this. I think that indie promotions are becoming big again, and I think that is such an important aspect to what we're talking about. So for indie promotions to continue to get bigger, I think that when you take away certain bigger promotions that used to be big, such as Impact, such as NWA, and AEW takes them, that gives indie promotions an even bigger audience that can go towards that, because fans aren't saying, oh, I have to choose between a smaller indie or Impact to watch. They can go to an indie show while there's AEW's version of Impact, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree with you, and I think that there isn't a downfall to having Tony kind of take up some of the bigger names that are now considered more indies. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. Like, because like, a lot of people that we started to see, they were getting popular on the indie scenes, and they're getting their due on television. So So I can see that. So, you know, and you have to think the internet too, like the internet and YouTube and Facebook and everybody sharing things and stuff and smartphones has really helped the wrestling business.
Absolutely.
Because
Technology, bitches.
yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people did not know certain people, and then it's just like, oh, did you see this online? I was like, oh, I didn't see it. You share it, and then a lot of people see it.
So, do we have any cross promotional matches we want to see?
No, I want to see.
Not one.
No, I don't think I'm not there yet. Like my mind is still in the business form of how this could work.
Okay.
What I don't want to see is if it's going to remain, if there isn't actually somebody being bought out. I actually don't want. I think if you're contracted with a certain company, you should stay contracted. I think that I'm not a big fan of saying, "Oh, go follow this one." I'm not a fan of that.
Now, mind you, I remember there was a story that Don Callis' contract for Impact was expired. And he is one of the producers, I believe, for the show. And so now he's kind of doing his last hurrah. And he would be like, look what I just did for you guys. I brought another person from another promotion, and I gave you, look at these ratings. So now if you want to be big, give me the ball, and I'll roll with it. And I'll help Impact to go back from how it was before. So.
I don't see that. I think that his contract may be up, like you said. I think that if anything, I think AEW, he'll go to AEW. I think Kenny's going to be like, oh, we'll have him hired as a producer, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I can see it too. I mean, he has experience. He has over 30 years, so he should know. So,
also,
he has I just see so many possibilities right now for business as well as for talent that, look, Ethan Page's contract is expiring. And the story right there right now is just that they're imploding. There's a lot of talent that's in dark that could probably use this exposure and maybe go to Impact and stuff. There's some people that really need, some, fine tuning with their skills and stuff, and maybe a run in Impact would probably help. Or maybe somewhere else. So,
It's all very interesting. I can't imagine what they're going to do tomorrow night that would be cooler. Because last week may have been the greatest episode of wrestling on television, on primetime television ever, depending on who you are. So I don't know that they're going to be able to follow that up this week, or what they're going to be able to do with this storyline to make you go, oh, so this is what's going on. But I was already going to watch Dynamite anyway. So who's watching NXT tomorrow first? I don't think so.
I'm very lucky. I don't have to choose. Yeah, I watch that afterwards.
See, I'm jealous.
Yeah, because he's on the West Coast, so they probably premiere it afterwards, so he'd probably be able to see it.
So I get to watch Thursday. Yeah, I get to watch AEW for the first, and then I get to an hour later after that, I get to watch NXT. So I don't have to choose at all. I see both of them.
See, it could all just work out so picture perfectly if NXT would just go back to Thursdays.
Now this is also gives room for WWE to really plan out something to make their product a little bit better. Now they are doing some good things. Let's not knock WWE right now.
On NXT, they're doing amazing things.
Yes, on NXT they're doing amazing things. SmackDown is really doing good, for them. Raw, it needs a lot more help.
A lot less time.
Well, it just needs an hour less. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, WWE is not going to go anywhere. I hope. I wish nothing but the best for both companies and wrestling altogether.
Yeah, exactly. No, WWE has the history. They'll bounce back. They'll find a way to bounce back. They always do. And when they're pushed into a corner, they're gonna be, they're gonna probably really start swinging and start doing some better things. So
I hope this puts us kind of back on the same track, because 2019 was maybe one of the most exciting years to be a wrestling fan, and within the 10 years previous in a long time, having a new promotion and all these different third party platforms like Twitch, and everyone's got apps on the Roku channel now. That's what I was looking for. So like everyone's got all kinds of crazy stuff that they can do and that they can show you from their cell phones, from their small backyard promotions. IWTV, you got to watch it. It's so worth your $10 every month. And you see just tons and tons and tons of indie promotions. There's so much wrestling in 2020, and wrestling didn't stop. So now we think we can finally have the great year that we were having in 2019 and 2021.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. Does anyone have anything else to add?
No, just make sure you check out our pre-game, or what is it? Our predictions for, what is it? Impact Final Resolution. Wait, aren't you getting married?
Final
that day?
Resolution or Final Destination? I forget.
It takes
That's bad. We probably have to.
It takes like 10 minutes to get married. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone else will probably have to host. I'll just I'll chime in.
Okay. So we'll do and then make sure we'll have it afterwards discussion. We won't do the watch along. We got banned on Facebook for that. I guess somebody picked up our audio, or it picked up our audio rather. So we won't do the watch along, but we'll do the predictions before, and then the wrap up party afterwards.
Yep. That sounds good. Thanks for tuning in, y'all, for this little special edition of What the Hell is Going On in Wrestling right now. And we will see you tomorrow.
Actually, check us out. No, our next show will be on Thursday.
Yes, so Thursday we're doing a discussion show. So watch us, as well as Saturday too. Yes, Dallas, we're gonna send invites, so relax.
Yes, so make sure you join us on Thursday as we talk about the all-time greatest managers in professional wrestling. We're talking Bobby Heenan. We are talking Miss Elizabeth. We are talking Beulah McGillicuddy, the head cheerleader Francine. We're also probably going to be talking about Tammy Lynn Cinch, but whatever. She's in prison. No shade. Total shade.
No shade at all to end this broadcast. All right, we'll see you Thursday. Shade. Sorry. And make sure that you check out our posts. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, all the good stuff. You can catch me, DMC Grizzle, on Twitch. Might be playing some games here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And you can check me out at Brian Bella, BBE, on Twitter.
Yes, and you can find me on Twitter at Orly1985. That's ORLLIE1985. Go on and give me a follow, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.